Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am getting ready to start painting the side, and I've got this taped up, and I'm just leaving a little bit of a reveal just on the corner of the bottom color on the side. The water line, as Flying Cub puts it. I had asked Flying Cub a question. I was curious what his opinion was on whether or not I should carry the bottom color. Since my wings are basically from here, all the way back to roughly here, should I carry the bottom color up to the wing? And I guess the more I thought about it, the more I thought I would rather keep the side profile of the camouflage rather than have that much area of the bottom color on the side of the fuselage. So I'm just gonna stick with doing the camo on the side, just like you normally would if the wing was on the bottom. So it's just different because it's a shoulder wing. It just makes a difference. But anyway, so here's my plan. I'm going to I was trying to figure out the best way to get an even number of coats, and so what I've decided to do is I'm going to do 2 coats of brown, and then I'm going to do 2 coats of green over top of that, and then after I do the 2 coats of green, I'm going to do 1 coat of brown and then 1 coat of green. I want to finish with the green, but that way I'll be able to get 3 coats of each, and actually, I guess technically, I think 2 coats of green may cover the brown, so we'll see how that goes, because technically in the areas where it's green, then I'm going to end up with 4 coats of paint, which is okay. But I think that's the best approach, is just do the brown first, let that fill, and then I want to come over top of the brown with the green. I could just go. That would end up with 4 coats in the green area, basically 4 coats. If I do all the brown and then do the green on top, I'm going to end up with something like 5 coats of green. So I think it might be better to do it this way. I'm going to give it a try. I picked up some Floetrol. I had a few areas where the paint was actually drying before the bubbles were settling down, and what that ended up doing is it just created a little more texture than I was hoping for in just a couple areas, like right there and a little bit up in this area right here. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to try some Floetrol in the brown when I do the side here, see how that works out. The ratio is basically 1 ounce of Floetrol for 16 ounces of paint, and so I'll weigh my paint as I pour it, and then I'll put the Floetrol in, mix it up good, and we'll go back to pouring the brown on the plastic and rolling it on. So all right, that's what we're gonna do. And then while that's drying, I'm gonna jump back over here to the gear legs. I'll go ahead and shrink this side, and then we'll flip the gear legs over and we'll do the other side. So we'll get that. These guys are all ready to cover now, so there's nothing standing in the way. As soon as those are done, these can cover. I'll mount my piece up in the top of the rudder for my camera mount. I'll make sure I screw that in before I cover it. That'd be good thing to do. and yeah, let's get some paint on this thing. All right. is on the side here, and one thing for sure is that the Floetrol has made all the difference in the world. I mean, this just laid right down. I mean, nice and flat. I don't have any of those bubbles left hanging out. Just smoothed right out, which is phenomenal. And so that's all drying back there. And so while that's going on, I'm going to jump back to the gear legs, and I'm going to get those. I'll shrink this side, and then I'll get the fabric put on the other side, and then we'll be off and running here. Because as soon as we get those covered, then they can be painted this color here. And then we're going to start with the stab. We'll do the horizontal stab, we'll do the elevator, and then we'll do the vertical stab and then the rudder. And we'll get those covered. And then while we're working on painting and doing all that, we'll get the wings set out here, and we'll start working on getting those urethaned and ready for covering as well. So that's kind of how the sequence is going to go. Now I'm going to do the once I get all the colors, once I get the 2 coats of brown on, then I'm going to do the green, and I've got my scheme picked out. It's basically a plane from the XR squadron, which if you followed me early on, you know that's my favorite squadron. They were basically Americans who were flying Hurricanes helping the British, and they I think it was the Eagle Squadron 71. So what I'm going to do is hop on those, and then I will catch back up with you, because all that is you saw this whole sequence. I'm just going to shrink this out right here, and then flip it over, put the fabric on the other side, which goes quicker than the first side. And by that time, this should be ready for another coat. All right, so I really only had time to shrink the iron down all the edges on these and shrink the fabric. This is already dry, so it's ready for a second coat. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll that on, and then while that one's drying, I will be able to get to putting the fabric on the second side of the landing gear, and then hopefully by then the second coat will be dry, and we'll have enough time to get the first green coat on, which is pretty exciting. So let's hope, cross our fingers we get there. All right, so the second coat is dry, and the paint continued to just do the same thing. It just laid down really nicely, so super happy with that. All right, so now we're going to go to the green coat, and we'll do 2 coats of that. I think that's all it'll take, and then we'll jump back and do another coat of the brown wherever the green is not. So let's get that marked out, and then we'll go from there. I got to look at my phone, figure out my colors here, and get some quick measurements off of the. I was trying to think, maybe I'll rotate the fuselage so I'm looking at it from the side. So. right, so I'm just gonna take a brush here. All right, so I am basically painting mine like XRJ. So on the right side of the fuselage, it comes it's going to end up cutting just through about the middle of my headrest. And let me get the green out here. All right, so I'm going to just use a brush. I'm going to paint the outline with a brush, and then I'm going to roll kind of up next to it. So it'll have the roll texture when we're done. But for starters, we're going to have a brush. So, and I'm going to be using I've got a small section on the nose. So the paint's going to come across here. I'm going to start at about here. It's going to basically end up there. So this part will be green. And when I start rolling, I'll just use that line as a reference point. I'll roll up next to that. So this is green. We're coming across from pretty much the windscreen here. Almost down a similar line. Curve over. There. It's going to cut just about through the middle of the headrest, and it's going to come across this way. About there. This is all green. And then toward the tail, once we get back here, we're going to come in just in front of the stab back here, vertical stab, which is going to be, it's going to go up. Back of that one, which kind of comes in on top of the stab. All right, so let me mix up some paint, and we'll get busy painting that. Take the cup with the flow trough and just brush this Alright, so I put it back on its side for this part, because I think it just works better when it's flat. And I'm gonna get the last coat of brown on, and then hopefully this will dry in time for me to get one more coat of the green. And then I can, because what I'd really like to do is just be able to peel my tape before I leave. So, yeah. And what I'll do when I rotate this over, I'll just pick up the colors on the top side from where I leave off here, and take them where they need to go. Do the same over here. Basically, the whole cockpit area is surrounded in green, so this one kind of cuts across this way, and then the brown comes across there. Considering maybe making this section black in between the in this area here. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but I'll figure that out as I go along. Probably will do something. I'll either paint it all green, or I will paint it black, but I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do there. So it's the green didn't flow out as well as the brown, so I'm gonna have to well, I guess it's doing okay. It's just drying a lot slower, so but the brown looks really good. So all right, well, let me get the brown back out, and we will I'll put the third coat on the brown, and then the brown part on the side will be done. All right, so so that was kind of fun. This is my little Hurricane taking shape. The paint looks really good, so I think it's gonna work out good. It was getting too cool in here to put the last coat of the brown's all done. There's 3 coats on the brown. The green needs 1 more coat. It's only got 1 coat, as I suspected. 2 is going to definitely do it. So I'll get that covered probably tomorrow when it's warm. I don't know if I have time tomorrow. I'll probably be back on Monday. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll be back soon to continue. As typically happens, something goes astray right there. I was bending down to close my paint cans, and I backed my butt into that. So that's I have to make sure I don't transfer that to my car seat. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. It's really cool to get some paint on this and get my Hurricane scheme going. It'll be just aft of the wing, which will be right back here somewhere. There'll be the roundel will go here. There'll be a white stripe actually right here on the back section going around the fuselage, at least from here around this way, with my tail number right through the middle of it. And well, all the other cool Hurricane markings and stuff like that. I'm gonna capture the ones on the wings, on the top and the bottom and the side of the fuselage as much as I can, so that it at least has the appearance of being my own personal little fighter. So that's what's cool about this. You know, you can have a lot of fun and do something really cool like that. So all right, I will catch you next time. And well, I don't want to say it that way. yeah, so thanks for hanging out with me. And as always, I will catch you later.